Things are a bit unscripted these days, especially now since most of us are stuck home and rely on computers and the internet to get our work done. This comes with its own disadvantages. For one, you can get ambushed by your own webcam if you're distracted. There's no shortage of live cam mishaps during work meetings on the internet, but today we'll be exploring cam mishaps of a different kind, the live news kind to be specific. These are 32 times when news reporters forgot they were live and did embarrassing things on air.
Hot.
Get ready to work those cringe muscles. While you're here, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. We often catch ourselves lost in our thoughts that we sometimes forget where we are or what we're doing. This can lead to some hilarious situations, like accidentally throwing your phone in the trash instead of the peel of the banana you just ate because you were distracted. This confusion can even manifest during a live news reporting segment as well. Captured here is an interview with someone where the reporter seems to have confused what appears to be a mushroom for the microphone. He goes into interviewing with great focus and interest while hardly noticing the hilarious switch. The interviewee seemed baffled and went along with it until the reporter realized and cracked up. They end up sharing a good laugh on air. By the way, that wasn't actually a mushroom but an old wooden mallet which is more than 600 years old and was the topic of discussion during the segment. Now you know. A sign of a true professional is to stick to the task at hand even if things don't quite go as planned. This was displayed by reporter Jenny Milkalski during a segment at a water park. Jenny was busy interviewing the trainers on site when suddenly a watery surprise drenched them completely. The reporter was wet from head to toe and obviously a little shocked.
It's wet.
The sneaky perpetrator disappears back into the water and pretends as if nothing has happened. Jenny, being a true professional, continued on with her task at hand while still very much soaked. There are a few must-haves when live reporting: a reporter, a cameraman, and a story. But one thing that a live crew doesn't need is an umbrella. Sure, it sounds counterintuitive and having an umbrella on a rainy day could come in handy, but there is ample proof online which clearly shows that having an umbrella is less than ideal. Like this reporter who is next to the raging sea while holding this umbrella. Like it's going to help. That didn't do him much good, did it? Some reporters seem to just hold an umbrella even when it's not required. Next time, go without it and save yourself the embarrassment.
Why did you throw the blue heart of the ocean jewel over the railing of the Titanic?
Being quirky on camera is fine, but not always. Corey McCloskey was reporting about a school band and decided to get up close with the instruments. He figured that maybe if he puts the mic inside the tuba, it might bring out a better sound. He soon realized it was a mistake and lost the mic deep inside the horn. Corey took a while to get the mic out of the tuba while the studio crew waited for him. Not the finest moment in broadcasting. Having a reporter around can be intrusive at times, especially when it's during something that requires enormous amounts of focus and caution. This reporter didn't know the ins and outs of being a journalist and only brought chaos wherever he went. For starters, he was covering a breaking news about a Guinness World Record in the making, where he manages to mess up the blowing of the world's largest soap bubble. He didn't even give the soap bubble expert a chance to work on his record. In another story, the same clumsy reporter was with an ice sculpture artist who was showcasing his work, which took him 8 hours to create, when suddenly Mr. Butterfingers crashes the party once again. Just these two stories are enough to paint a very bad picture of this reporter.
Why is this your Oh my God. I am so sorry. I am...
But turns out in a later revelation, the reporter confessed that both these incidents were staged and planned in advance. It was done to create a little bit of controversy and to improve ratings. But unfortunately, his candidness didn't win him any followers and ended up being even more unpopular than before. Just like everyone, a reporter's blind spot is their back. They always have their back towards the story that's being covered. In case of this viral video, a Myanmar fitness instructor was completely in her zone while a military coup was unfolding right behind her. In another incident, this reporter was completely clueless about what was happening behind her. A homeless man wanders into the frame and rummages through the garbage bin and suddenly tumbles and falls into one. It's pretty impressive how the cameraman was capturing the whole thing without cracking up. Some journalists know how to put up a stoic face even in light of strange occurrences. This reporter was covering a snowstorm in the city of Springfield when suddenly an unexpected figure made a guest appearance in the frame. Seeing herself on the monitor of the camera, she slowly turns around and sees the so-called Yeti and maintains her composure while continuing to report the weather. She is a true journalist and an expert in her craft. Being stoic during the reporting segment might not always be possible. This was the case for reporter Lauren DuBois from Norfolk, who got splashed with dirty water by a passing car, and it happened once again. Lauren couldn't hold her composure and let out a loud cuss word on live television.
We'll leave it at...
Instead of being mad at the situation, Lauren was a good sport about it and was laughing it off. Journalists have a tough life. They've got to be at the scene of the story regardless of whether it's late night or early morning. As expected, most of them are severely sleep deprived. That's just one of the work hazards of being a reporter. But sometimes the sleep deprivation makes it into live broadcast when least expected. This reporter clearly didn't realize that she was on the air. You can't help but feel sorry for her. Everyone gets bored on the job from time to time. This is also the case in the world of news anchoring. This anchor was oblivious that she was live and continued on daydreaming. When she finally realized she's on air, she gasped in shock and quickly composed herself and got back into it. Her expression probably brought her viewers a good laugh. Any segment with animals on live television poses a risk of things going seriously wrong. Something similar happened on this broadcast when host Steve Burton suddenly had to control a fidgety alligator in his hands. To everyone's surprise, Steve did an amazing job in controlling the troublesome reptile and got out of it unhurt. No matter how old you might be, some people just can't get over their fear of bugs. This can be especially embarrassing when live on television while being watched by thousands of viewers. This reporter clearly couldn't pull himself together when a bug interrupted his segment. There's no way he came out of this looking manly. Ever had an experience when you're out in the public and you trip awkwardly in front of everyone? Getting yourself up after that fall is probably the most embarrassing thing ever. But imagine the same scenario, but 1,000 or millions of people watching. This reporter was all excited about the upcoming basketball game and decided to make a run for it towards the stadium. But all his excitement came crashing down when he took a fall on national television. Ouch, his embarrassment was probably more painful than the bruise in this case. Here's another example of an untimely fall on live TV. It almost looks like the ground beneath him gave way. Well, what actually happened was that the reporter had perched on a ladder for a better frame, and he fell off of it. Hopefully he didn't break his back after this.
I would say yes.
You can fall while running, while walking, or even while standing. But did you know you can trip when seated? We've got Ryan Seacrest to credit for this. While on the Live with Kelly and Ryan show, the co-host is seen trying to catch a balloon when his chair gives way and he falls straight down on the studio floor. It seems no one is safe from falling, no matter what position they're in. Reporters can often get harassed or tormented by passers-by who want to get on the frame and maybe a shot at a few seconds of fame. This reporter was busy delivering his story when suddenly a youngster pops into the frame and tries to kiss the reporter while on camera. The reporter quickly evades the kiss and gestures the passerby to move along, and the prankster continues to walk ahead. A few rumors suggest that the young man who tried to kiss was the reporter's own son, but this can't be confirmed as of this point. Sometimes when trying to get into the midst of the action, you might just literally fall into it. This reporter got a taste of the developing story in person. Being a morning person is hard for most of us, and that's even truer for people in the television industry. Their schedules are extreme and there's no semblance of a normal routine. But if you catch yourself feeling sleepy at work, having colleagues like this will make sure you're always awake and ready on the next beat. Maybe next time try coffee and not a snake. No one likes to talk on the phone anymore. If you receive a call, it's almost like someone is intruding into your personal space. This TV anchor clearly forgot the silent function and got ambushed by a call mid-show. He decides to just throw away the cell phone out of the frame rather than turning it off.
What a great weekend that's going to be out there. Looking forward to that.
Need to do a coverage on monkeys? Do so with a wide berth between you and the animal. TV host Kelly Gonzalez apparently didn't get that memo and got pulled into the action. The monkey decides to pull her hair during the coverage, but luckily that's all it could do. Being straight-faced and composed is the key behind a smooth television show. You've got to hold it together even when things are not going according to plan. This TV host clearly nailed it as she was walking into the frame. Her heels fly off and she casually kicks them away with a platform and continues on. Professionalism at its best. Technical difficulties are a major part of the live television world. This field reporter suddenly sounded a lot different from what we were all expecting. Maybe it was a connection issue, or maybe some mess up in the sound department. It was hilarious nonetheless.
Weeks, we're talking months for these 100 miles.
A truck in a bicycle track? Unexpected, but the driver clearly doesn't want to stop and continues to drive down the track while also picking up a souvenir on the way. I guess the reporter didn't know what to add to the developing story. Not all interruptions during a shoot are annoying. This one is certainly funny and cute. Whenever the reporter begins to talk, the parrot gets chatty and interrupts him. Clearly, he doesn't get much company to talk with, and this is his chance to socialize.
The people of Dunedin are friendly, so too are their pets.
Oh. Hello?
The people of The people...
Ripping your pants in public is such a painful event that it's better to get abducted by aliens right then and there than to deal with the shame later. This reporter probably felt the same when he tried to pull this stunt and ripped his pants live. If anything, it brought laughter to the people gathered, so it wasn't all that bad. When how-to demonstrations fail. This guy wants to teach his subscribers on how to get inside a runaway car and take control of it before it's too late. Turns out he locked himself out of the moving vehicle and couldn't get back in. Not much of a life hack, was it? How to catch a charlatan. Like this. This self-claimed martial arts expert visits the studio to show the extent of his strength. He manages to break the brick with a hand inside a glass, but the host himself wanted to test it. And what do you know? The host manages to break it with ease as well. The fake martial arts expert was caught off guard and pretends to be impressed by the host's strength. Nice try, Mr. Miyagi, but the jig is up.
That's beyond athletics. That's beyond wide world of sports, you know.
Who wouldn't want a dog on set? This furry surprise popped up on a Russian television show and caught the anchor off guard. The furry fella only wanted to make friends, but the anchor seems a bit uncomfortable here. How did he get in there anyway? Being on the field with the ostriches and covering a news on them may sound like a good idea at first, but not so much later. They're incredibly aggressive birds, and this reporter was to soldier on with all the bites and pecks that went on during the reporting. This female reporter was not spared either. Sometimes an unexpected turn of events like this one makes for great television. The pelican wanted to show who's boss and gave his host a good scare. Hilarious. This one seems like the beginning of an assault on live television, but it wasn't. The woman in the frame is the world-renowned model from the Dominican Republic, Clarissa Molina. She was making an appearance on the TV show El Gordo y la Flaca when the co-host tried to grab her, but it was all just a joke and no one was hurt. A lot of things can go wrong during a live show. The lights can malfunction, maybe someone slips and falls, or even a wardrobe mishap. Generally, the crew is in the loop of what's going on around the studio via the in-ear microphones. In this case, actor Norman Reedus found himself blocking the weather forecast screen, and suddenly the assistant director swiftly grabs Norman's chair and moves him out of the way just in time. This is what makes an effective TV crew. Well, that's all of it. Which got you laughing the most? Let us know in the comments. Before we let you go, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. Later.